On May 19, 1944, the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean became the arena made for a tense confrontation. Aboard the USS England, Lieutenant Commander Walton Pendleton led his crew with determination and focus, aware of the gravity of their mission. The ship, equipped with advanced sonar and depth-charge technology, was purpose-built for anti-submarine warfare. Their target was the Japanese submarine I-16, one of the notorious I-boats known for their stealth and deadly torpedoes. These submarines posed a significant threat to Allied naval operations, capable of striking swiftly and disappearing beneath the waves. As the USS England prepared for the hunt, every sailor understood the risks and the importance of their task. The stage was set for a dramatic encounter that would test both skill and resolve. As the crew prepared for the impending confrontation, tension filled the air. Every member of the team was acutely aware of the stakes, knowing that a single misstep could mean disaster. Lieutenant John Williamson, recognizing the opportunity, ordered the deployment of the Mark 10 Hedgehog anti-submarine weapon, a cutting-edge device designed to launch a barrage of explosives toward the suspected enemy position. The seconds stretched into an agonizing wait as the projectiles descended, each heartbeat echoing the uncertainty of the outcome. Suddenly, a series of violent explosions erupted underwater, sending shockwaves through the vessel. The suspense was finally broken when oil and debris surfaced, clear evidence that the submarine had been destroyed. Relief and triumph swept through the crew, marking the end of a harrowing episode beneath the waves. The sinking of the I-16 by USS England represented a pivotal moment in naval history. This victory was not merely the elimination of a single enemy submarine. It signaled a shift in anti-submarine warfare tactics and demonstrated the effectiveness of coordinated hunter-killer operations. The event foreshadowed a period where technological innovation and strategic adaptation would become crucial in undersea combat. USS England's success sent ripples through both Allied and Axis naval commands, prompting a reassessment of submarine deployment and defense strategies. Ultimately, this engagement underscored the evolving nature of naval warfare and highlighted the growing importance of intelligence, teamwork, and adaptability at sea. What mattered was what would happen over the next 12 days, and what those 12 days would reveal about how profoundly American destroyer crews had evolved in their understanding of submarine warfare. This is the story of how that understanding developed, how American sailors learned to turn their ships directly toward incoming torpedoes, presenting the narrowest possible target, how they mastered new weapons that revolutionized anti-submarine warfare, and how a doctrine built on aggressive attack replaced the defensive posture that had cost American ships so dearly in the war's first years. It is also the story of how Japanese submarines, despite their technological superiority, failed to achieve their strategic purpose because of doctrinal blindness that no amount of engineering excellence could overcome. To understand the significance of England's hunt in May of 1944, you must first understand what Japanese submarines represented at the war's beginning and why American destroyer crews had learned to fear them. The Imperial Japanese Navy entered the Pacific War with what was arguably the most technologically advanced submarine fleet in the world. Not the largest, Germany possessed more submarines, but the most sophisticated in design, range, and capability. The Japanese had invested enormous resources in submarine development during the 1930s. They built submarines that could circle the globe without refueling. Submarines larger than any other nation possessed. Submarines armed with the Type 95 torpedo, a weapon that used pure oxygen instead of compressed air, leaving no telltale wake and traveling at speeds American torpedoes could not match. While American submarine torpedoes had a maximum range of 9,000 at 46 knots, the Japanese Type 95 could reach 20,000 at 49 knots. The Japanese built submarines that carried aircraft, small float planes that could be assembled and launched from a watertight hangar built into the submarine's hull. Between 1932 and 1945, Japan constructed 41 submarines capable of carrying aircraft. The United States built none. Britain built none. Germany built none. Japan alone possessed this capability. Some Japanese submarines could carry 3 bombers. The I-400 class, completed in 1944, displaced 6,500 tons submerged and could launch 3 Sun attack aircraft, each carrying an 18,800 bomb. The size of Japanese fleet submarines dwarfed contemporary designs. The I-15 class, commissioned in 1940, displaced 25 and 84 tons surfaced and 3,654 tons submerged. They measured 358 feet in length. American Gate-class submarines, the backbone of the Pacific submarine fleet, displaced 1,525 tons surfaced and were 311 feet long. Japanese submarines carried larger crews, more fuel, more torpedoes, and heavier deck guns. The I-boats mounted 5.5 in naval guns. American fleet submarines carried 3 in guns. This technological superiority translated into operational capability. Japanese submarines possess ranges that American submariners could barely imagine. The I-class boats could patrol for 100 days without returning to base. They could transit from Japan to the American West Coast, conduct operations, and return home on a single fuel load. They could reach the Indian Ocean, operate off Madagascar and South Africa, and return to Japanese waters. No other navy possessed submarines with such endurance. In the first year of the Pacific War, these capabilities produced results that shocked American naval commanders. On January 11, 1942, just 5 weeks after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese submarine I-6 intercepted the carrier Saratoga, 500 miles southwest of Oahu. A single torpedo struck Saratoga's starboard side, flooding 3 fire rooms and killing 6 men. The carrier limped back to Pearl Harbor, then proceeded to Puget Sound for repairs. She would be out of action until June, at a moment when the Pacific Fleet possessed only 4 operational carriers. During the Battle of Midway in June of 1942, after American dive bombers had destroyed 4 Japanese carriers, the submarine I-168 penetrated the destroyer screen around the damaged carrier Yorktown. Yorktown had been struck by bombs and torpedoes during the battle. Her crew had abandoned ship, then reboarded to attempt to tow to Pearl Harbor. Destroyers surrounded the wounded carrier. I-168 submerged to 150 feet, crept beneath the screen, and fired a spread of 4 torpedoes. 2 struck Yorktown, 1 struck the destroyer Hammond, which had been tied alongside, providing power and pumps. Hammond broke in half and sank in 4 minutes. Yorktown capsized and sank the next morning. On September 15, 1942, the submarine I-19 achieved what may have been the most remarkable submarine attack of the Pacific War. Commander Kanashi Takaichi was patrolling east of Guadalcanal when he sighted the carrier Wasp and her escorts. He fired a spread of 6 Type 95 torpedoes from a range of 900 yards. 3 torpedoes struck Wasp, detonating aviation fuel and bomb storage. The carrier burned uncontrollably. Her crew abandoned ship. She was scuttled by destroyer torpedoes that evening, but the other 3 torpedoes from I-19 spread continued traveling through the formation. 1 struck the new battleship North Carolina, floating compartments and killing 5 men. Another struck the destroyer O'Brien, blowing off her bow. O'Brien made it back to the West Coast, but broke in half and sank during the return voyage. 1 submarine, 1 salvo, 6 torpedoes, 3 American warships struck. This happened while Marines were clinging to Henderson Field on Guadalcanal, when the Pacific Fleet had exactly 2 operational carriers in the entire theater. Japanese submarines possessed the technology, the range, and the weapons to devastate American supply lines. They could have made the Pacific War infinitely more difficult for the United States. Yet, they did not. And understanding why reveals one of the war's great ironies. The Japanese submarine force failed to achieve strategic impact not because of technological deficiency, but because of doctrinal blindness. Japanese naval thinking traced its roots directly to the Battle of Tsushima in May of 1905. Admiral Togo Haihachiro had intercepted the Russian Baltic Fleet in the Tsushima Strait and destroyed it in a single day of combat. 8 Russian battleships sunk or captured, 5,000 Russian sailors killed. Japan lost 3 torpedo boats, 117 men killed. Tsushima became the template for all Japanese naval planning. The decisive battle, the single climactic engagement that would determine the war's outcome. For 40 years, every aspect of Japanese naval doctrine focused on preparing for and winning this battle. Battleships were the primary weapon. Thank you for watching. For more detailed historical breakdowns, check out the other videos on your screen now.